I just finished watching The Acolyte, and I know this is a video is coming out pretty late compared to when episode 4 comes out, and it'll probably be so late that it'll either be coming out the day before or pretty much the same day as episode 5 comes out. But either way, I just want to talk about this because I do plan on talking about episode 5 as well, doing a little collab, which obviously that'll come up in a few days after this video pops up. But watching The Acolyte, the only real thing I can think of, and even during watching it and afterwards, is just why. Like, so many aspects of it just leave you wondering, why did Disney spend $180 million on this show? Why is there so many things that just kind of make you question whether or not, like, what the purpose of making the show was? And it also just makes you question how much they actually care about trying to make a good Star Wars show when they try to implement things, and it's very clear that it creates heavy canon implications. Um, implications. For example, um, I could just go with the obvious fact that in the most recent episode, Kiadi Mundi is shown to be there despite the fact that he isn't supposed to be born for like another 50 years. The Covenant of Witches doesn't make any sense, not to mention the writing and some of those scenes are a little corny. But if we're talking about logically speaking, there is no reason that covenant should really exist. It is a covenant of a it is a multi-diverse species, or it's a covenant full of multi-diverse species. Because when you look there, you see a lot of recognizable aliens you've seen before. You've seen some non commonly shown species, and there's even some newer ones I think that they put in there. But all those women, the only thing that connects them together is the fact that they're able to use some form of witchcraft, which we have obviously the Night Sisters, but they remain, they are from Dathomir, and they stay there. They don't meddle in other things, which they weren't trying to meddle in other things as either, but at least with the Night Sisters, a lot of it made sense, right? They were of the same species on the same planet, and there's also males there who they used as breeding stock, right? But here, they're just a bunch of exiled witches, and they say that they were exiled because people feared their power. So it's a question of, where do they get their power? How do they use it? And why is it that all these different women that really have nothing in common, biologically speaking and probably culturally speaking, can all use this power? And where does this god basically inhabit, or what are they worshiping, right? And it also makes it worse when it's revealed they used it to create twins, which is again a problem because there's been already established lore that the only time this ever happened is with Anakin, and it took not decades, took like at least centuries and multiple lineages of Sith apprentices to masters to try and perfect this, as it was their ultimate goal to create the ultimate kind of force powered being. And it played into why Anakin was so powerful and a big part of his character. But just randomly throwing it into a random series to just give it to these girls feels weird, especially because that would imply that they're should be unique, they should be super powerful, and that like all these other things, but they don't really show any of that. There's no hints towards any of that, and it just feels like they just did it for shock value. It's just kind of like, why include that? And then also the story in general. At first, it looked like it was gonna be more focused on revenge and Obviously you have the sister who was who appeared to be corrupted by the dark side and because of the mysterious dark side user, and it looked like she was going through and she was going to kill all of the former Jedi who came to her planet and were going to take her sister, because later on in the flashback they show that she locks her sister in the room before she leaves, burns her book, and then burns her room because she's apparently psychotic and would rather kill her own sister than just let her leave. So I don't know how someone like that, who then presumably at some point gets picked up by a dark side user and is influenced in that way to take revenge and violence, and then suddenly when she finds out, oh, your stepsister is actually alive, and she suddenly just flips a switch. It's also that just doesn't really make sense. Obviously, the stepsister, who or not the stepsister, the twin sister. Why the fuck did I think stepsister? I don't know why I thought that, but the twin sister, obviously, that was going to leave for the Jedi, escaped. Thought she saw her other evil twin sister die when she fell down the cavern. All the other Jedi thought she died there, but obviously she did not die. And she went to the Jedi, did training, and then didn't work out for um, whatever reason, all that stuff. And she was doing I forget what it's called, but it's that job where they go into spacesuits and they basically fix and do repairs outside, kind of like what the astromechs do, or what the astromechs are supposed to do, because they mentioned how it's illegal for humans to do that work and now it's supposed to be automated through with astromechs. But obviously, people will do illegal shit, and that's what happens, and that's how they find her. But it's just so the plot that they're looking to set up gets pretty much immediately solved. The first couple episodes, they figure out who the killer is, they corner her, and now in episode 4, she pretty much makes a full 180 turn. Doesn't want to go through with the trials, doesn't want to be evil, doesn't want to do any of these other things, despite all the other shit that she's done, and the kind of proof that like her as a child was she was kind of a sadistic child and all that other stuff, which okay, all right, whatever. And then now we're in the situation where obviously they're being confronted by the dark side user and they show him as pretty powerful, but again, it's just what is going on with the story? What is their intention to it? Why are they including things that either are breaking canon or just don't make sense, or just really should not be in here? And it just makes you question, what are they even trying to do with the show? Because I honestly don't know what they're trying to tell in this story. If I'm being completely honest with you, I'm lost. I don't know what they're trying to do. But yeah, that's my take on it. It just might be something that's just completely going over my head here, but like it just feels like the acolytes just kind of lazy, and that they're putting shit in there just for the sake of, ooh, new cool thing, or like, oh, remember when this or whatever. And it's obviously not playing in their favor. It hasn't been reviewed well. I don't know the Rotten Tomatoes scores at the top of my head. I know I usually show the IMDb scores for these kind of reviews, but for this one, I just wanted to kind of keep it more simple. Just talk about the fact that I think the Acolyte has a lot of people saying and asking why do this, why do that, and it's just what is the deal with this show. But that's my opinion on it. Again, it could be a situation where this is just going completely over my head and I'm just stupid as fuck. But again, I don't know why Disney would waste 180 million on this show. It's just so far another mid Disney Plus show, and I would honestly wouldn't be watching it unless I was making videos on it. So, what do you guys think? Are you guys actually watching The Acolyte, or are you just getting your information through reviews and other media sources? And if you, of course, like the video, leave a like, comment down below. Um, anything, your thoughts on the Acolyte. And if you want to see more from me, make sure you hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, because like I said, in the next couple of days, I will have another video about episode 4 with a special guest on the for next episode, and then I will also probably be doing some more Elden Ring streams pretty soon. So if you want to watch me lose more years off my life, um, drink a lot more alcohol, and just lose my mind trying to beat the new bosses, go right ahead. uh, my suffering is for your pleasure, but to all the people who are currently subscribed, thank you for being a part of the posse. Always much great. Fuck. Always greatly appreciated. But for right now, have a good rest of your guys' day or night, wherever you are, and goodbye.